Hi, this is Scott Garibay, embedded reporter, reporting from the front lines of the Dungeons & Dragons Edition Wars, which are quite on, despite what you've heard. So what are the stakes of the Dungeons & Dragons Edition Wars? The stakes are what duns, uh, what dungeon masters get the most players and what dungeon masters get the best players. Okay, and then additionally, how much money does Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro Gaming have to keep Dungeons and Dragons moving forward? These are real stakes within the Dungeons and Dragons Edition Wars. The reason why I'm reporting from the front lines is there's been some ridiculous reports from D&D commentators that the Edition Wars are over, and it's all D&D. The Edition Wars are quite on. They are very much raging as we speak. So today I want to talk about which editions are winning the Edition Wars and which editions clearly lost the Edition Wars. So are out of the Edition Wars already, right? All right. So there's one, the Edition Wars are still going now, right? In fifth edition. Here's the cover of fifth edition, and they've been going on since 1E, since the Orange Spine Easleys. By the way, the Orange Spine Easleys, you're looking at them. They're 12 Dungeons and Dragons books. They're all 1E. They all have an orange spine, and they have an Easley cover. I think they are the most valuable collection within Dungeons and Dragons from a cultural perspective. They're not the most valuable from a monetary perspective. I think this is the best Dungeons and Dragons collection you can get. And basically, since these were created, the Orange Spine Easleys, late 70s, early 80s, right? Maybe to about the mid 80s, the Edition Wars have been on like Donkey Kong, and they are on today. So which editions are winning the Dungeons & Dragons Edition Wars, and which have clearly lost? Let's go. All right, here we go. Who's winning the Edition Wars? Here's gold, silver, and bronze, baby. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is winning the Edition Wars. There's no two ways about this, right? Ain't no other edition got a Matt Mercer, right? Ain't nobody got like a bunch of like felt Hollywood voice actors like getting millions of views, right? D&D 5e won the Edition Wars. If you don't get that, you ain't paying attention, right? Actually, it's winning the Edition Wars right now because the Edition Wars are quite ongoing, right? Who's second? Dungeons and Dragons 1E is second. It has the silver place medal in the ongoing Dungeons and Dragons Edition War, without a doubt, right? People love 1E. They talk about Menser, they talk about BX, like they talk about the white box, right? You know, literally the first box edition that came out. That's all Dungeons and Dragons 1E. Some people call it 0E, but it's all D&D 1E, and boy, do people love it. In fact, what is a grognard? A grognard is a tabletop role-playing game fan who carries the banner of D&D 1E. And what really amazes me is the old grognards who are like, 1E is the best. It's like, it's just so good. And then try to, like recruit people over, right? But like Aaron the Pedantic, I do not get that dude, man. That dude's sitting over there. He's young, right? He's got to be less than like 30 years old. And he's like, oh, one the first edition Dungeons and Dragons is great. I'm like, you're a young dude. Why on earth you got nostalgia for a game that was like 2 decades before you were born? But that shows D&D 1E matters, man. It matters, okay? And then third is Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition to this day got love. Man, people love that game, right? One, they had just a ton of they had just a huge number of beautiful hardback books, right? One of the things that, is really nice is Dungeons and Dragons has that classic hardback. You've seen them a million times. It defines the shape of a tabletop role-playing game to this day, right? It's the same shape that came out in 1E, and you can get the PHB, the MM, and the PHB, the DMG, and the MM in that shape. Like, it's just a thing. Like, it defined it, right? 3E's got dozens of them, right? So 3E had just tons and tons of these beautiful hardback books. It was the first edition that was in all full color. Every hardback, every page, full color, baby. Now of course some of the soft cover books for 3E weren't there. D&D 3E has done very well in the Edition Wars, right? It's got its sword and board out. It's slashing and bashing, right? 3E, don't count that sucker out. There's still people playing it, people with a lot of love for that game, right? Who are the losers in the edition war? Because there are two. I'm going to give them to you right now. 2E and 4E. Okay, so people love 1E because it's the first. The first always gets loved because, like, if I'm gonna, if you're old school, you're just gonna go back. 2E, you're like, that's back far enough. Let's go back farther, right? When the art was bad and it was just Gary Gygax hiring his friend and not real professional artists. Like you want to go all the way back. So if you go be old school, you want to go old, right? Like, so 1E just wins over 2E because it's older, right? And the minor variations in complexity for 2E just don't matter that much to grognards, right? So I really feel that 2E has very much lost the edition wars. It's already out. Its corpse is a couple miles back, right? 4E, that corpse is more miles back, and it's been picked by the buzzards, right? Ain't nobody champion 4E nowadays. Maybe a couple people wearing sandwich boards, on the streets calling out the name of 4E, but there ain't many. Right? 4E has clearly lost the edition wars, right? And when it came out, it sundered the entire it deserves to lose the edition wars, right? Yeah, 4E has some cool ideas in it, but it cut the D&D community almost in half and almost killed the game, right? Like, it deserved to lose. 4E loser, right? So that's it. Those are your winners and your losers in the edition wars. Winner, gold medal in the ongoing D&D edition wars is 5E. Silver medal goes to D&D 1E. Bronze medal goes to D&D 3E. And casualties of the Dungeons & Dragons initial war is D&D 2E. Ain't nobody care. And D&D 4E, people do care. And they're like, that thing needs to stay in the ground, right? I'm going to dance on its grave, right? 4E definitely lost the edition wars, right? With the ongoing edition wars. That's my opinion. What do you think? Who do you think's winning the D&D edition wars right now, right? Within Dungeons & Dragons. Within Dungeons & Dragons. And I hear you're like, Scott, there's a bunch of other games. I'm going to do its own video just for the other games that are similar to these editions that are in the edition wars. I'll do my own video just for that. So I'd love to hear you, just talking D&D 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, 5E. Who do you think's a casualty, just laid out corpse in a ditch? And which editions do you think are still got their sword and board up and they are slashing and bashing? You heard mine. I'd love to hear your list. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.